this was we were really like nervous and excited.
I'm an adult making content for the internet. Seems to enjoy it. Kids love skeletons, I guess?
Eyes move somehow, some way, his tongue moves. I'm not well versed into this item for the movement. Oh, I figured it out.
So you can either turn it like this.
Danny Go is huge. He had a 72 city live tour last year. Dear God.
Hello, Internet. My name is Stephen A. Sarch, and for the past decade, I have been a digital culture reporter writing about every influencer you could possibly think of. And I've decided that it's time for me to move over to YouTube and finally get to reach the audience that actually wants my work. Because, oh my God, did you guys show up for my last video? In a million years, I never would have thought my first video would have been as successful as it was. And I just want to say thank you so much. It really means a lot to me and shows that I actually have a chance to kind of make this journey a reality. I have read all your comments, both the positive and the negative. I got a pop filter for my microphone. I got a new light. I am more further back than I was before. I will make sure to lower the music quite a bit, though I'll still make sure it has that digital vibe that you guys loved so much. And for my second video, I really wanted to focus on something that I think a lot of people care about, including me, and that's YouTuber merch. Everything from t-shirts to sweaters to what'll eventually be the topic of this video, toys. About a year or so back, I spoke to Matt Pat, formerly of The Game Theorists, about this.
Like, there are certain products that have mass appeal and mass sales, and then there are other things that are specifically niche for their audiences, right? And the interesting thing too is you're seeing it across such a broad spectrum of products. Obviously, candy, fast food, the foodstuffs, the Primes of the world, things like that have gotten probably the biggest headlines. But I mean, you have everything from clothing and merchandise and stuff like that to financial courses and advice and budgeting apps and things that are coming from the financial sector of the creator world. You have dental hygiene tablets where it's like, did you brush well? Well, here's my dental check tablet or whatever. And the success stories will live on. They'll go through their natural life cycles or whatever, and the other ones will just kind of get swept away.
So I love supporting creators, but I think it's a little too parasocial to donate or sub. I'm just not about that life. But getting a physical object that I can put on a shelf or wear or just sort of tout about town is something that I genuinely love. Like when Video Game Donkey released his vinyl figures a few years back, I made sure to get that immediately because I love Donkey. I love Donkey so much that when I played with him in a video game, I wrote a whole article about it. So for every YouTuber where I buy their merch and it sits on my shelf and it's something that I love admiring, there's also a fair amount of merch that I get from creators that I just fall out of love with. Sometimes I just stop watching them, while other times it's because I end up disagreeing with how the creator views the world, how they've evolved, how they represent themselves on the internet, being bullies and not necessarily doing things I agree with. I should probably change. In February, I attended Toy Fair at the Javits Center in New York City. On and off, I've been going to this trade show since 2018. Always as press and as a journalist. My beat for many years was just nerd stuff while I was at Newsweek and iDigital Times, which of course meant video games and toys. You probably have no idea what Toy Fair is, since it's not open to the public. It's not like Comic-Con, though it's in the same building and has a similar sweaty aroma. It's for vendors, brands, sales executives, kids, journalists, the Amish, and influencers to learn what's going to be the new hot thing in the toy world. Because toys are hot right now. According to market study platform Circana Checkout, the US market size for the total toy industry for 2025 was approximately $45.6 billion. That's a lot of labubus. Though the market itself is completely unrecognizable from what it was 100 years ago, Toy Fair fundamentally hasn't changed that much. Here's how it was described in a 1926 article from the Milwaukee Leader. The toy designers bring out their new models and the buyers register their approval or disapproval. In this way, the manufacturers are enabled to anticipate the trend of demand for the coming year. No toy maker can run the risk of pulling up big stocks of playthings and then find them unmarketable a few months before Christmas. Younger me watched segments on the Travel Channel, where these hosts would play around with tricycles and the latest new toys that I wanted to get my hands on. And I remember watching this YouTube video of Vin Diesel showing off a bunch of Street Sharks that made me love the brand so much, I eventually bought one, then they re-released them.
I'm going to chase Rocky Balboa action.
All of these people made Toy Fair look awesome, but in reality, it's just work. There's a lot of walking to meetings and PR people telling you about price points. There's a lot you can't touch, and even more you can't play with. When you walk around the show floor, you notice that toy trends dominate. Years past, it was poop and capybaras, but now you can't turn a corner without seeing slime or an axolotl. There's also a lot of anime, a lot of merch, a lot of figures, a lot of cards. I brought along a friend of mine to film, who I know from my video game writing days, who describes himself as invested in the gooning space. From the footage, you can definitely tell. But the most noticeable change to Toy Fair has been the obsession that brands now have with YouTubers and digital culture. It's not just influencers walking around and talking to themselves with a gimbal camera in their face. That really isn't that new or unique. But now, toy companies need to understand the marketing potential of influencers in order to thrive.
I'm an adult making content for the internet. I'm an adult making content for the internet. Back that thing up, girl.
Toy channels are now major marketing opportunities. Booths are packed with photo ops and PlayStations for content. Influencers are everywhere, and their toy lines are ever present. Moose Labs, which collaborates with MrBeast on his Beast Labs toys, just announced a new collaboration with Mark Rober for his Crunch Labs line. Now, Crunch Labs started as a STEM building platform, where you could build things like a turret that shot darts, or a little machine that, shot spinning discs out of itself. They were toys that kind of taught you how to build, which I think is really fun and cute. These Crunch Labs toys are more for mass market appeal, for people who aren't willing to spend the time to build a bunch of things, and they just want their toy now. There was a machine that you could crank that would crush things like cans or fruit. There was a little rifle that would shoot little smoke rings out, but we couldn't see that because there wasn't enough room at Toy Fair. And there was a board game that was described as Clue, but with squirrels. They were all kind of like dumbed down versions. They'll obviously have potential. There was also a lot of baby toy content. I walked up to the Just Play booth, which has a big collaboration with Danny Go. I didn't really know much about Danny Go, but from the vibes of the booth, I got... It's like Miss Rachel, Blippi, Danny Go. I don't know. There was a dad filming all the toys. Included a jukebox where kids could kind of change the beat, and a game that was floor is lava. Obviously not for me. Then there was Educational Insights, which makes Canoodle, a game that I kind of enjoy as a brain teaser. They had a whole section that was dedicated to these characters that were made of blocks and had faces on them. I know now they are from a YouTube channel called Number Blocks that I had no idea even existed before I Googled it for the video. Then there's Bonkers Toys, which started out as this small brand making blind boxes for Ryan's World, which turned them into a massive corporation and one of the largest toy brands in the influencer world. So they now have toys for a lot of Let's Players, including Lanky Box, and recently announced one with Preston Plays. They make these cat blind boxes for Minecraft creator Aphmau that the PR woman told me the people who buy it don't necessarily even know who Aphmau is, they just like the cat that they get out of the box. The influencer brand is sort of just like the icing on the cake that can market the toy, but it isn't necessarily its all-consuming nature. Then, of course, Bonkers Toys had Skibidi Toilet. A lot of you clicked on this video hoping that this was going to be a Skibidi Toilet video, but I just want you to know that I am working on the video. It just takes time. It's a very sensitive, deep story that requires a lot of work. Like, I'm going to have a legal review for this thing, and this channel still isn't monetized. So even the TikTok shop had a booth, and they were really hungry for people to sell content and merch on their platform. I was walking by, taking footage of the show floor, and I get approached by this brand representative for TikTok. His grasp on English wasn't the best, and he asks me what I do. And I say, oh, I'm a writer and a journalist who covers YouTube and TikTok. And he goes, oh, you're a TikToker. How many followers do you have? And I'm not gonna lie, in that moment, I panicked a little bit, and I said I have 5,000 TikTok followers. I definitely do not. I kind of just wanted it all to go away. He seemed so excited and wanted me to become a vendor on the platform. He was like, you should sell. We need vendors. This is so exciting. Okay, here's my card. Let me know if you need anything. And he reads it and he goes, oh, you're a journalist. Oh, that's so amazing. I live in New York City too. Would you want to grab coffee with me? Let's hang out. And I'm like, and I kind of noped out of there as quick as possible. Because throughout the entirety of Toy Fair, something felt just kind of off to me. It all felt kind of weird. And I couldn't put it all into words until I was at the Basic Fun booth. Amidst the Dungeons & Dragons action figures and the giant arcade cabinets was Lincoln Logs on a wall. You know Lincoln Logs. They're the simplest toy imaginable. It's just a bunch of blocks being put on top of each other. And that's all it is. And I was like, oh, everything is kind of different now. What could just be a simple toy that people could play with and have fun with now needs to be some massive IP influencer Star Wars machine to get as much content as possible. And even Lincoln Logs wasn't safe from brand collaborations. There's now Hello Kitty Lincoln Logs, which I'm sure can sell gangbusters when given the opportunity. They all felt out of place, like a relic of a play pattern forgotten. This feels much better. And just so you guys know, I don't hate Toy Fair. It's genuinely one of my favorite trade shows to visit, and I look forward to it every year. It really kind of like gives me a glimpse into where all of these industries are going because everything starts with toys. I also love it because it's an opportunity to see what MrBeast is cooking up with his toy line. For those of you that don't know, I consider myself a bit of a MrBeast expert. I've watched every video, I've tried to eat all of his food stuffs and drink stuffs, I have watched most of his reality game show, I am working on...
Let's move on to the next game.
And I've done multiple investigative features that looked into allegations of workplace misconduct and dangerous working conditions on the set of the Beast games that included the story of a 24-year-old crew member who on his first day was hit by a multi-hundred-pound piece of wood that left him permanently injured. But I think when people look at MrBeast's empire, the toys kind of get ignored. I think the big reality show and the chocolate bars and the bank get most of the attention. But I don't think the toys should be ignored. They've been incredibly successful. Since Moose Toys launched them in 2024, they have been one of their best sellers. Moose Toys shared some data with me, and they told me that it was the #1 ranked toy in 2024 across Circana, and in 2025 it was the #2 ranked collectible in the action figure class. It has been incredibly successful for MrBeast, and they are going to keep making these things. They're not stopping. While I was at Toy Fair, I got the opportunity to see the newest action figure line that is coming to the MrBeast line. And it's basically like this guy whose shoulders can kind of shrink in like this, and when you pull him out of the can, he like pops out. And it's kind of a cool toy. And I think the MrBeast toys have been absolutely fascinating. Mainly this guy right here. I think he is the most cursed object to ever exist on the internet. His face fills me with fear and joy. He's full of money and feastables like the real MrBeast. But I also think this guy kind of encapsulates a real problem that the MrBeast brand has. You know, MrBeast has no brand identity. When you think of him, you think of money and maybe giving it away. that's about it. You know, the Beast Games is trying to kind of make a MrBeast style IP, you know? Something that you can think of when you actually hear MrBeast, these sort of challenges that reoccur. But before that, it was basically just like, this is kind of like what people think of when they think of MrBeast. So here's the thing. I personally believe MrBeast's channel is very focused towards kids. You don't make chocolate milk and action figures and Lunchable style meals if your audience is, as MrBeast says, teenage boys. It just doesn't make sense to me. But I've actually found that there are kids who are finding MrBeast not through his channel but through the toy aisle. A few months ago, I interviewed this mom who had posted on social media about her son having a MrBeast birthday party, and she baked a cake and, you know, she rented a gamer bus. But she told me that her son found MrBeast while they were at a big box retailer at the toy aisle. He saw Jimmy and his toys and thought they looked cool, and then they went to his channel. When this mother found the content, she immediately knew that some of it wouldn't be age appropriate. Some of it was, you know, like all of the people being put in a circle and fighting for $500,000 seemed a little inappropriate for a child. But some of the other content seemed entirely fair. After our conversation, the mother said she started looking into some of my reporting and the allegations that have kind of existed around MrBeast. And her opinion started to change on him. It wasn't until MrBeast said on social media that clavicular is the future of social media, right after he did that thing in that club, where she was like, okay, I don't think this is the right guy for me. I don't think this is proper. I don't think this is good. And I think there are other kids out there who are being brought into the MrBeast ecosystem because that's what the MrBeast brand wants. They want to create an ecosystem where you can eat, play, hang out, do your banking, and maybe even eventually do your cell phone, where you never have to leave the MrBeast ecosystem. All I want is for parents to look at the things that their kids are engaging with. Check what YouTube videos they're watching. Check the toys that they're playing with. Make sure that what they're doing isn't part of some weird internet celebrity that, you know, might have some controversies. The things your kids do matter. I remember these toys from when I was a kid. They have influenced the way I grew up. And the idea that all of the joy that I had and all the imagination that I created would be replaced by me watching a bunch of YouTube videos of people opening up toys just kind of ruins the magic. And for me, that's really sad. One toy can lead a kid to finding inappropriate content, and the YouTube Kids app doesn't need any help doing that. There is so much AI slop on that platform. Don't just let your kids play with their favorite influencer toys. Really pay attention and really know. But that's my video. I just want to say again, thank you guys so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate it. I am still learning, you know, I think I've improved a few things here, but please let me know what else I can do. And I'm really excited to see you guys again when I post my next one. Peace.